Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So in my last video I shared about some of the sewing projects that I've been working on. I shared a recipe that I've made for years and years. I shared about the trees coming down for our future garden area, which I am so incredibly excited about. Oop. And I also mentioned that I would share some of the other sewing things that I've been working on. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, I wanted to talk about the portion of the kitchen that you can see here behind me, because I had a lot of comments about some of the things that people saw over here in my last video. And so I thought I would just kind of walk you through these here real quick. So I had several questions about the cabinets themselves. People wanted to know where I got them from, what kind they were. So these cabinets are just the store brand unfinished cabinets that I picked up at Home Depot. The kitchen in Alabama, we had done a similar thing. We had added additional cabinets, and those cabinets we got at Lowe's, but these are basically the exact same types of cabinets. I just got them at Home Depot as opposed to Lowe's. The doors themselves and the fronts are wood. I believe they're birch, so if you wanted them stained, you could stain them. I just installed these little jadeite handles on the white cabinets, as you can see here. And then on the lowers, I installed milk glass because I painted these cabinets, the lowers, a green color. Now the paint on top is the exact same paint that I used in my Alabama kitchen. It is the Valspar cabinet paint, and the color is ultra white. And I, of course, use cabinet paint because you want to make sure it's durable and it can be washed a lot, because you're always going to get food and splatter on your cabinets and you want to be able to wash them off, especially if they're white. The lowers, I actually used a different type of paint. This is from Behr, and it is their version of the cabinet paint. And the color is called Copper Patina. Now the one thing I'm not a huge fan of is that these lowers have one giant drawer that goes across there instead of two separate drawers. You know, one giant drawer kind of makes it a little bit difficult to keep things organized. And so what I did was I just installed these little bamboo dividers. It has the two long pieces that kind of sit in place, and then it has multiple of these little section pieces that you can configure. So if you've got a smaller drawer and you want like little spaces and little compartments, you can use a bunch of these to create those. I really didn't need to do that. What I did want was sections of the big drawer. And so I just used the big ones, and then I put a smaller one here just to hold things like pens, markers, Leatherman, because, you know, you always need a Leatherman handy. And, you know, so I've got my pot holders right here next to the stove. You know, quick and easy access. I've got my little section here for the pens and everything. I've got a kitchen towel handy, my little skewers that I use for things here in the kitchen, some matches, and of course, a variety of teas. And I installed one of those dividers in this drawer as well as that one over there. Now, one of the things that we are definitely going to need to do, though, a change of plans, I guess you could say, is these kitchen counters. Now, I love the wood. I love seeing all of the different colors in the grain of this acacia wood. It really kind of lends to the rustic vibe here in our Arkansas home. But the issue that we have been running into with these wood countertops is them marking up. Now, I well oiled this wood. You know, I prepared it the way you're supposed to get it to where it is safe to use in your kitchen. The soaking upon soaking of the mineral oil to protect it and everything. But this countertop right here gets used a lot, and we use appliances over here. slow cookers, my sealer for my Mylar bags for the freeze dryer, just all sorts of things. And all of these appliances have black rubbery feet on them. And every time we put an appliance over here on, well, on either side of the stove on this wood countertop, it is immediately marking it up with these black marks. It's almost like it turns those little rubbery feet into black crayons. And it is almost impossible to get those marks off of this countertop. I suspect, I don't know for sure, but I suspect that those rubbery feet that are on the bottoms of these appliances are probably some sort of petroleum-based product. My guess, I don't think they're actually rubber. But the thing is oil dissolves oil. And so if this countertop is heavily oiled with the mineral oil, the oil seems to be breaking down the surface of those rubber feet and causing them to soften and mark up this countertop. And it doesn't seem to matter how gentle we are, how careful we are, it is getting marked up, and I cannot stand that. I think it looks terrible. And so I do not regret installing the wood countertops here. I still absolutely love them. I think they are beautiful. But what I'm going to do is give them a light sanding, get all of the marks off, make sure there's no residue on here. And then as soon as we have a good patch of weather where I can open up the windows and not worry about freezing anybody out, we're going to be coating the countertops with this. This is the exact same product I have used on tables that I have refinished and everything else. I can't handle all of those marks getting all over there. It's just, it looks terrible. And then the cast iron skillets that you see here on the wall. Now I've got a lot of cast iron. Most of my cast iron skillets and pans hang on that white shelving unit that you saw countless times in my Alabama homestead. It's just around the corner right here. But I hung these ones up here because these are kind of like my fancy skillets. These are Smithy brand cast iron skillets. I will talk about these in another video where I talk about using cast iron and just my thoughts on these and everything. But the little rods came from Amazon. They were just a pair. They come in all different colors. I chose kind of like the antique-y copper color. They were very inexpensive, but they were really easy to hang up and everything. Now the handles for the cabinets here, they came from a shop. I cannot remember the name of them. You can find similar ones on Amazon, but I will put a link to the website where I ordered these in the video description down below if you are interested in those. So in my last video, I mentioned that I had some other sewing things that I was working on. One of them was hemming some dresses that I had gotten. I treated myself to some new linen dresses from this one company, and I don't know if their models were just really, really tall or what, but when I got the dresses, I put one on and I'm like, this is way too long for me. I didn't realize it was a full-length dress, and they were not kidding when they said full length because they were down to the tops of my feet. And so I did have to hem them. I always get really nervous when I'm cutting into a garment because I'm not an expert seamstress or sewist, as I'm told they're called now. And so every time I go to make that first cut, I just get really nervous and I just pause and I go, please don't let me mess this up. Please don't let me mess this up. So I hemmed that dress, and then I went ahead and hemmed the second one as well, doing the same things that I did for the first one. And they turned out great. The hems just, they look perfect. Don't look like I ever touched them. The other thing that I've been working on was some of these. Now these are just the super easy, any beginner sewer could, any beginner sewist could make these. They are just the microwavable DIY hot pads or heating pads, I guess some people might call them. I don't know what you call them. You heat it up in the microwave, you put it on your neck or a shoulder or a knee or whatever you need to have some nice gentle warmth on, and they're really easy to make. You can make them different sizes, different shapes and everything. I had been meaning to make some of these, finally got around to doing that. The other thing that I will be doing here in the next few days is doing some candle making, because before we moved, I had purchased a whole bunch of candle making supplies. I made a few as like tests, seeing how the fragrances worked and all of that stuff, and planned on making a whole bunch of them, and then I just never got around to doing it, and I have all of the supplies here. I was going through my closet the other day, going through fabrics, going through all these different things, and I realized, oh, I never made the candles that I was going to make. And so I actually pulled everything out. So if everything goes as planned, I'll be making some candles later this week as well. But just trying to catch up on all of the projects and just do all of the things that I've been wanting to do for a while and just never quite seem to find the time to do them. So in any case, that is it for today. If you have any questions about anything here that you saw, just let me know. I will try and provide the answers to those in the video description. But that is it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me here at the homestead. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.